Hello once again, Niner Faithful, and welcome back to the final regular season episode of the 2025 season of 49ers Playbook on the channel that's trying to answer the whys and the hows of the game. It was a frustrating end to the regular season as the 49ers had an opportunity for the number one seed in the NFC and couldn't pull off a win against the Seattle Seahawks at home, and will now have to travel to Philadelphia in the wild card round. There were a number of issues that plagued the team: poor assignments, lack of execution, and even poor play calling. Everyone had a hand in the loss, and we'll take a look at enough to see what went wrong, but not everything because, well, that's just too depressing, and we have a playoff game to look forward to. So let's jump to the film and see what went wrong against Seattle. You're watching Johnny Dell's Football Academy. One thing that was glaring was defense against the run, and specifically the defense from the safeties and defensive ends. When it came to stopping outside runs, it was a mixed bag. Sam Okawanu played pretty well, but Bryce Huff and Keon White, two guys that were never meant to be run edge setters heading into this season, had some struggles. Here, it's the second play of the game, and Bryce Huff gets sealed by the combo of AJ Barner and Eric Saubert, and if you have no edge, you have no chance, and it's a big gain for Seattle. And when your defensive ends aren't setting an edge, it has cascading effects as the linebackers now over-pursue. Here's later in the drive, and you can see D. Winters gets far too aggressive attacking the point, and there's no one home giving up a big cutback lane, and it's another solid gain on the ground for Seattle. Then, after getting a fourth down stop back on defense, they give up an explosive for a touchdown on 3rd and short. This is just unacceptable at this point in the season. The 49ers play a one-gap defense, so each man is responsible for one gap, and the way the 49ers play this, it's like Tatum Bethune first has to help against an inside dive, but then scrape over to the C gap, as we're going to pinch the line, and CJ West has the A gap, and Farrell will have the B gap, and Jair Brown has outside contain. With no one accounting for the C gap, it's a huge lane, and then neither safety can get Charbonnet on the ground, and it's a touchdown given up. And then you have more gap issues. So in our wide 9, our safeties are responsible for the C gaps on most plays, or the gap between the tackle and the tight end. And this stays the same against a double tight end formation, and the defensive end, Keon White, is in the D gap, or the gap between the tight ends, and Jason Pinnock will be what's called the overhang or apex defender, with Lenoir as the force defender. Here, Seattle is just running a wide zone, and Mustafa takes the correct angle coming up to fill the C gap. But Keon White gets removed from his gap by a tight end, and it leaves a lane for Seattle to get another big gain. The real backbreaker, though, was a first down given up on 3rd and 17. This is just a crack toss, something the 49ers have been much better against than they were in 2023, but they get killed by it here. First, Jair Brown never gets blocked by anyone, and he's got to come up and make a tackle here. The safeties are the ones who have to stop these plays. This is just not good enough. Period. He had a chance to make a stop 10 yards short of the first down and never gets a hand on Kenneth Walker. Outside of that, this is just not tough enough, not strong enough in pursuit. You have linebackers and Mustafa getting washed out by linemen down the field. You shouldn't be allowing lesser athletic linemen to be able to get their hands on you in the open field like this. It's just not good enough. If the 49ers can make it to the divisional round, Fred Warner has told teammates that his goal is for a return that week. It would be a huge lift. Here, Tatum Bethune is in position on Cooper Kupp, but like he's played all year, he's hesitant, doesn't trust what he sees, and doesn't pull the trigger to jump the pass. I'll play it a couple times. Darnold is in his windup. Bethune has a chance to jump this pass for a pick, but he chops his feet. He's reacting, not attacking. Then again, no edge, no chance. This time our defensive end and Pinnock do a fine job setting the edge from their spot, and Lenore, when Cooper Kupp blocks down on Pinnock, Lenore needs to replace and set a hard edge. He doesn't, gives up way too much space, and it's another big gain late in the game on the ground. Okay, that's enough of the defense. Let's look at why the 49ers had one of their worst offensive performances under Kyle Shanahan. One thing that does bug me after a game like this is people will assume things that didn't happen. I've already seen it a lot where people are saying Seattle just stacked the box against the run. Just because a team struggles running the ball doesn't mean the other team stacked the box. You'll see Seattle ran the majority of their defense from a light box or a too high defense. We had this same problem last year when we lost to them, failure to run against a light box. Here we're running our duo, Kyle calls his punch. There's a disconnect here between McKivitz and Pooney. They start out with a double team on Byron Murphy, but both guys peel off to go get Ernest Jones, and it leaves Murphy unaccounted for. And it's a minimal gain. You just can't have that. One thing I saw a lot was the 49ers were trying to give their tackles a lot of help against Seattle's edges and have a better way to account for the pressures Mike Macdonald likes to bring. So McCaffrey and Kittle helped in pass pro a lot in this game. When you're without Ricky Pearsall and McCaffrey and Kittle are late into the pattern, it's real tough to create space if the line doesn't hold up. Here, Seattle is coming with a 2-deep fire zone, and we have Kittle in a block and Juice on a corner route. So you essentially have a 2-man pattern with Jennings and Robinson, and there's just no opening there. If Purdy had a clean pocket, I'd expect him to find McCaffrey, who would have been open for a huge gain. But Spencer Burford got beat quickly by a blitzing linebacker, and Purdy got flushed away from that side. This is just not good enough. So then on third down, we have Kittle chip and release, which delays him out into the pattern, and McCaffrey on a check and release, same thing. We're running Jennings on an over route and Bourne on a skinny post. You're trying to hit Bourne for the first down, but if not, create enough space for Jennings to catch it short and go get the first down. Seattle takes away Bourne's route with depth, and you should be able to get Jennings enough space, but the line couldn't hold up against a 4-man rush, even with the chip by Kittle, so McCaffrey has to help against the interior rush, and so you have no way to influence Reek Woolen, and there's just not enough space for Jennings to go get a first down. I want to take a quick break and thank all of the members of JFA49.com for your support this season. We weren't able to hit the target for members this year, but still appreciate all of those who were able to subscribe and sponsor all of these videos this year. Thank you so much, and if you like the content this season, it's not too late. Yes, you usually see ads on these videos, but over 90% of that has gone to the NFL with YouTube's dispute policy practices. So far, about 1 in every 1,000 viewers has come on board, and if you'd like to support the channel even for a month at the end, it makes a huge difference. Thank you so much for your consideration. Now, back to the film. Then on a crucial fourth down, this was a really curious call by Kyle and just unacceptable execution. We're trying to take a play action shot to Kittle on a deep sail concept off of play action, and this one is going to sting. They actually get Sky Moore wide open for a for sure touchdown as the safety pulls off his deep zone to cover Kittle on a crash route. But Colton McKivitz completely whiffed on his run fake block on DeMarcus Lawrence, and McCaffrey didn't get enough in the way. So when Brock is setting up for his throw, he's got Lawrence right in his face. And then there's plays like this, which is just blown assignments. We're going to bring Juwan Jennings in motion, and we're just running our wide zone, and DeMarcus Robinson is supposed to be on an insert block. So he's responsible for Emanwari, and Jennings will work to kick out the corner. The line actually does a nice job in the run game, gets up to the second level, but Robinson blows his assignment and Emanwari is left unblocked, and it blows the play up. You can see Kittle get onto him after the play, and this drive ended with a failed 3rd and short and then a field goal. So you've seen points taken off the board off of avoidable mistakes. Back on offense, it's another missed opportunity to keep a drive going. It's 3rd and short, and DeMarcus Robinson is running a whip route. Here's where it's poor situational awareness. He's running the depth of his route too shallow. If he's going to work back to the ball, he needs to work 2 yards deeper so that he'll be past the sticks when he catches the ball. If he's going to run this at the normal depth, he needs to come out flat to the sideline. which is how Brock throws his ball so that it's a first down. But Robinson works back to the ball unnecessarily and has to jump to catch it, and it's a failed third down. Just sloppy, bad ball. Seattle is running man with 2 inside help defenders, something they run a lot of in the red zone, and we have CMC on a choice route. He's open, but the ball gets tipped at the line and then bounces off McCaffrey's hands, and it shuts the door on the hope for the 49ers in the game. In all, it was an extremely frustrating performance in a game where it felt like they absolutely needed the bye week with the late season injuries. They have a huge task ahead to travel across country and play in Philly. Stay tuned this week as I'm hoping to get a playoff preview episode out ahead of the wildcard matchup, but until next time, stay safe, stay healthy, and go Niners.